This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Wednesday, October the 10th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, describing the ongoing gun violence across Barbados as a growing phenomenon, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crime Euclid Thompson said his constabulary has a secret plan in place designed to shoot down this worrying problem. But ACP Thompson is cautioning Barbadians that the strategy was unlikely to succeed if members of the public did not feed the police with information about what they see and know on crime.
As Barbadians, we have a duty to supply information on criminal activity. And therefore, it may be an old cliche, but it's still true that we really police this country with the consent of the public. And indeed, to a very large extent, we depend on the public to support us in our work, in our projects, as it relates to things that we create, some alarm that we create uneasiness and so on. So, yes, the gun situation the gun violence and so on is cause for concern. But I think the public needs to come forward and give us greater support in helping to wrestle this problem down to the ground.
ACP Thompson also assured the country that the investigations into the presence of the Washington University of Barbados Medical Institution, established in 2016 under the watch of ex-Minister of Education Ronald Jones as minister, will not stop at its Chief Executive Officer Rao Venkat Gopi, who is on remand on fraud charges. The crime chief told Barbados Today that the probe will be intensified and go wherever it takes investigators.
I don't know if you can just stop and go no further. It's a situation that it has obviously become something that the public has become aware of, and in that regard, we would like to think that we're professional enough to explore this matter to its fullest extent. So that's what we are doing. As we speak, the matter is being attended to by professionals in the organization.
In other news now, almost 5 months after the general election was held, the workers who ran the poll for the Electoral and Boundaries Commission will be finally paid. As the business of the House of Assembly was winding up last evening, Minister of Home Affairs Edmund Hinkson announced that government had allocated $4.3 million towards operating expenses associated with the May 24 poll, which saw the Barbados Labour Party win all 30 seats in the House. Hinkson said the current administration had to foot such a high bill because earlier this year, the then government voted $600,000 towards those elections, which was what he called absolutely and totally inadequate. Meanwhile, opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley wants the law to regulate what people say on social media. Barbadians have been using social media to defame each other without fear of legal action being taken, and he called for more stringent penalties to be enforced. A sickening stench emanating from the 5th floor of the Baobab Tower Warrants Office complex continued to keep Barbados Statistical Department employees off the job for the second day yesterday. A Barbados Today team was also hit with the pungent odor akin to raw sewage upon arriving on the 5th floor of the public complex, as workers described the experience as being up close and personal with the South Coast's sewage troubles for almost 2 years. Acting Director of the Barbados Statistical Services, Aubrey Brown, told Barbados Today that the workers again complained to him that the scent in the office was affecting their health. But workers vented their fury over the collapse of a colleague on the premises on Monday, suggesting their health concerns were being ignored. Statistical Assistant Annette Graves said she has spent over $400 in medication to try to combat the recurring stench. Director of Economics at the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Justin Ram, has given the thumbs up for the way the Mia Mottley administration has made some tough decisions as it wrestles with this country's massive debt. Dr. Ram was addressing an economic symposium at the Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination on regional economies in the wake of the 2008 global crisis.
I'm very, very optimistic about the prospects for Barbados. Yes, initially in the short term it's going to be difficult, but as you can see here, I I think Barbados, the government of Barbados, should really be applauded for taking the tough step in trying to move this economy to where it should really be, to improve its competitiveness and to bring down its debt to GDP ratio significantly.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust. We're back with news from the region now. Patients living in infirmaries across Jamaica are being severely abused. Describing the treatment meted out to them as extremely wicked, Minister of Local Government Desmond McKenzie says he will be doing all he can to put an end to it.
Desmond McKenzie says many inmates in infirmaries across the island who are there to get the necessary care and attention by caregivers whose job is to do just that are instead experiencing sheer cruelty in some infirmaries.
Over the last couple of weeks, I had to bring all the CEOs, the matrons and the poor relief officers into Kingston for a meeting to address some of the atrocities that those who are in the care of the state has been experiencing by persons who work within the infirmary.
And on the international scene, Hurricane Michael is projected to plow into Florida's panhandle midday today, unleashing potentially devastating waves of seawater as high as 13 feet that could rush inland for miles around the storm's center. That's the warning from the National Hurricane Center. By yesterday, Michael was already causing major disruption to U.S. oil and gas production as it churned north over the Gulf of Mexico.
A state of emergency has been declared in several dozen counties along Florida's Panhandle and Big Bend regions. Forecasters expect Michael to be the strongest storm to hit the area in more than a decade and are predicting winds of up to 110 miles per hour and devastating storm surge. Officials urging residents to heed warnings, particularly in coastal areas where some mandatory evacuations are already underway. Michael already blew through the Caribbean on Tuesday, battering parts of Cancun and Cuba.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.